Hello, everybody. My name is Scott Arthurs. I'm a Global Account Manager at Avetta, responsible for the Amazon account. I've been with Avetta now for 6 years and been in the contractor management space for about 14. Thank you all for attending today. Today's breakout session is on general contractor and aggregator accounts, what they are, what you need to do, and so forth. So let me get stuck into it. So, as you know, Amazon has implemented Avetta to manage contract prequalification, and that's across all sites. There are a bunch of benefits that come from this. One is that it will streamline and simplify the prequalification process for all contractors. It'll make the process transparent and auditable for Amazon. It'll also improve safety performance for both contractors and Amazon. So this is for you and also for all of your subcontractors. Just to get through some definitions, there is a little bit of confusion out there between what's the difference between an aggregator and a general contractor. So really it's broken down by the type of business operation. So if it's an operational Amazon site, you have direct suppliers, you've got aggregators, and an aggregator then uses subcontractors. So very similarly, on the construction side, you've got direct suppliers. So these are suppliers that are paid for, directly by Amazon, and then general contractors and their subcontractors. So the aggregator and the general contractor is essentially the same thing. The big difference is the aggregators are for operational Amazon sites and general contractors are on construction sites, which are under the control of the general contractor. Here's the definition that I just spoke through. So I will read these out for you. General contractor is the entity that contracts with Amazon developer to be in charge of a building project, including all sourcing, supply, installation, and site safety controls, including the management of subcontractors. An aggregator directly contracts with Amazon and receives work orders and uses subcontracted contractors to fulfill work orders issued to directly contracted vendors. And that's in post-launch operations, so non-construction. A subcontractor is an entity who is awarded a portion or scopes of an existing contract by the general contractor or aggregator, and this subcontractor performs work under a contract with the general contractor or aggregator. So how does Avetta work? Suppliers log into Avetta and provide data. Avetta then goes away and verifies that data. And we're talking about things like 3 years worth of safety statistics, OSHA records, things like that, insurance details. The pre-qualification requirements varies country by country and between operational and construction, but we basically collect data, we verify the data. If we identify any gaps, we'll work with the supplier to help close those gaps. Typically, we find 50% of safety manuals that are uploaded the first time round have gaps in them. So we'll help improve the safety documentation that a subcontractor is going to be using, and that will in turn result in better safety performance for the subcontractor, and which reflects better on you and reflects better on Amazon, right? Amazon can then use all of this information. You can use this information to make better informed decisions about which subcontractors you should be using. And the system also allows you to go in and do post-work evaluations. So this is doing a performance review on your subcontractors. You can give them a star rating based on their performance. So they get something like a Yelp or a Amazon product review. And the beauty of that is that next time you're looking for an electrician, you've got 3 pre-qualified and green flagged electricians in the system, but 2 of them are 3-star rated and 1's 5-star rated. Which one are you going to award the next contract to? Well, that's up to you, but 5-star looks better. So what does it mean for you? I guess if you're not already in Avetta as a direct supplier, you will need to register with us. I'm assuming most people on this call have already done that. If you haven't, this is how you do it. You can call us, or you can jump onto that URL there. This is assuming that you're working in the US. We do have additional sites for Canada, for construction, and those sorts of things. If you've got any questions, please just give us a call. And then you'll also need to onboard your subcontractors. Now, to do this, we will need to set you up with a general contractor or aggregator account. And then we'll help you go through that process of onboarding your subcontractors. There's a bunch of resources that will be available to you, including a template letter that you would send out to your subcontractors, or we would do that on your behalf. If we're going to do it on your behalf, we need to know who those subcontractors are. So there's a template list that we would need where we can capture those details so that we can contact them. You should also be notifying people internally at your company just to let them know that this is happening, because you will get calls and questions from your subs. So having your internal teams aware of what's going on is best practice. So we'll give you some internal communications you can share there. We will then go away and configure the sites for you. We'll provide training and support. And how do you get this whole process started? If you contact Matthew Hofling, there's his email address. He is one of our client success managers, and his primary role is to configure and train and support general contractors and aggregators working for Amazon. Something to be aware of is that Avetta is a fee-for-service subscription model. Significant discounts are in place for Amazon for contractors that are only going to be working for Amazon. The pricing is this, right? If a supplier has got 10 or fewer employees, so a small contractor, this whole process is completely free. A local contractor, which is defined as a subcontractor with 11 to 20 employees, has a $350 annual fee. Other contractors do get our regular rate, which is the $1,200 annual fee. Note that this is US pricing, so if you're tuning in from outside of the US, those dollar figures vary country by country, but the concept is basically the same. There are a number of benefits to your subs coming into the process. Typically they're not going to be happy that they're going to have to pay and then be required to provide all of this additional documentation if they haven't had to do it in the past. But there are benefits, and that, the number one there is it's improved safety performance. And like I said, where we find gaps in their processes, our safety professionals will work with them to improve their processes to meet requirements. There's also a significant efficiency gain here, because once you're pre-qualified once in Avetta, you're pre-qualified for all Amazon sites, whereas historically, if you worked at 3 sites, you'd have to pre-qualify at each site, which is a time sink. Yeah, and it's just a hassle. So this way makes it smooth and easy for everybody. There's also improved visibility, and this is for other clients. Avetta is the largest contractor management or pre-qualification company in the world, and the first place our clients go to look for contractors is into our network. So they will, once a supplier is registered in Avetta, they're more likely to get tapped on the shoulder for additional work. So there's some benefits to them that way as well. Also, being a member, there is access to exclusive discounts available via this hyperlink. If they're logged into the system, it's a built-in link on the top right of the screen once they're logged in. And typically we're seeing suppliers, like small suppliers, saving thousands of dollars per year on insurance premiums if they contact one of our partners through that marketplace. Once subs are in the system, there's a process in place. So the first process is for them to register in the system. the second step once they're in the system is to actually go through and complete all of their open tasks. So this will be answering a number of pre-qualification forms or PQF forms, answering some Amazon specific questions, uploading their insurance documents and their safety statistics and things like that. Avetta then reviews that information, and ideally we get to a compliance status at the end of that process. Once you're compliant, you can get on site. So next steps, if you haven't already, please register as a direct supplier. And then if you don't already have a general contractor or an aggregator account set up and you do have subs that are working at Amazon sites, please contact Matthew Hoefling via these details, and we will make sure that you're configured, trained, supported, and set you up for success. Christina, did we have any questions?
Hey, Scott, we had one question. This has been Reed. My company is yellow color in Avetta. I asked customer service from Avetta about this. Do you have anything you can share on this, Scott? I can support with an answer as well.
Sure. So Amazon's the way Amazon uses the system, it's a bit like a traffic light system. When a subcontractor or a contractor is in the system, you're given either a green, a yellow, or a red flag, right? Green, amber, or red. Green flag means you're completely compliant. You can get on sites, work on sites, no problems at all. Amber means you can still go on site, but there are some areas of concern, and Amazon will be taking a closer look at that account. Typically, it could be something missing from a safety manual, something like that. It's generally a documentation thing that needs to be improved, or it could be something like a high TRIR, which is beyond Amazon's normal safety threshold, and it really just flags you for a closer look by Amazon. But you still can get on site and work if you're yellow flagged. If you're red flagged, you should expect to be stopped at the gate and not get on site and perform work. Did you want to add anything to that?
Yes,
Yep.
Thank you so much. That does answer it. And as Scott pointed it out, right? Anybody that achieves a yellow conditionally compliant or green flag, which is fully compliant, they are able to support the business. My name is Punrita. I'm WHS Prequalification Manager with Amazon, and I'm confirming this to you based on our policies and procedures that if you have a yellow flag or a green flag, you're still able to support the business. Next question. Is Matthew Hoefling the contact for UK and Ireland?
Initially, yes. He will redirect you to the teams in the EU that'll help more directly, but he will be the first channel for that. Yeah.
All right, the next question is, my company does racking installation. Can we be registered prior to any Amazon procurement direction? If I could actually answer this one, Scott.
Sure.
All right, so you can request to connect, but without an Amazon procurement approval, the connection request will not be approved. So it needs to be approved by the category procurement team first.
Although as a direct connection, you would see all of the pre-qualification requirements, so you could start getting in there and completing the documentation. You just wouldn't be an approved supplier.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, the next question is, how will the renewing process work?
It's an annual subscription in Avetta. So if you sign up yesterday, you'll get the annual renewal next year. In terms of information uploads and refreshing information, things like that, we have something called an annual update, which happens between the 1st of January and the end of March each year. So that will open up all of the pre-qualification forms and also give you a new annual update form that you need to complete. Really, you just need to confirm that, you know, what information has changed over the last year. So your company might have grown from, 20 to 100 employees or something like that. So you'll just need to update that information. Those sorts of things happen once a year. And then if you're in the construction side of the business, you'll also get, monthly safety statistics that you need to submit and various other forms that might be assigned to you from time to time, like project management forms, variance forms, things like that. So it all gets managed within the system. So make sure you log in on a regular cadence, or keep an eye out for the notification emails that'll come to you, letting you know that there are tasks for you to complete within the system.
Thank you. And just important to note, for our suppliers that are non-compliant for more than 90 days, Amazon will reach out to let you know that you need to log in and update your account, or your account is at risk of being inactivated. So make sure you are logging in and updating your account. The next question is, and I'll answer this one, Scott. If you are only supplying material, is Avetta registration necessary? So Avetta is necessary for our suppliers that are performing on-site services that pose any risk to safety. So if you are only supplying material, you are not required to be enrolled in Avetta. However, if you are supplying material and subcontracting the work out to another supplier to do installation for that, then you are required to be in Avetta, as well as having your subcontractors enrolled and connected to your aggregator account. And I don't see any other questions in the chat. So if anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and throw them in there and we can go ahead and answer them.
Let's go back to this slide so that the email address is there for you to see if you need.
Another question is, how about for food delivery for supplies?
So I know that catering vendors are in Avetta already. So, and this is down to vending machine refills or cafeteria, those sorts of things. I'm not sure if that answers the question, but.
Yeah, so for our attendants that are like working for our break room, refilling vending machines, they are required to be in Avetta, but just like on-site catering is not necessary to be in Avetta unless you are serving the food on site, cooking the food on site.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina and Scott, and our audience. I see we've got a great audience in this breakout room. If you've got any questions for our Avetta guru, or who's Scott Arthurs we've got on, and Christina Holman, who is our procurement vendor manager, feel free to drop those questions in the chat and we will take those and try to answer your questions. I see comments from Ray. Ray's install, everything is clear now. Thank you. Sounds good. We're glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
Well, yeah. While we wait for questions, Christina, Scott, anything else you think would be value added to share with our 66 viewers on the stream?
Yeah, something came up in an Amazon meeting yesterday. If you've got questions coming to you from your subcontractors, there are two ways you can go, right? I would, instead of trying to figure out what's going on with your contractor yourself, you can redirect the contractors to the Avetta support team. 50% of Avetta is literally a call center with support teams there to help subcontractors, right? To help the contractors. So that could be any question to do with their account at all. However, if you've got a question about how do I manage my subcontractors or anything like that, if you call that same helpline, they're not going to be particularly helpful. That's something we need to fix. But if you've got any questions about your general contractor or aggregator account and you need help, again, reach out to Matthew or me. We'd be more than happy to help you through. We've got quick start guides, training templates, things like that. So, and give you one-on-one training if that's what it takes. Absolutely, they're here to help. So my point being, You just need to know where to direct the different types of inquiries, I guess. If it's supplier related, send them to our help desk. If it's aggregator or general contractor related, come to Matthew or myself.
Yep, and if you're an aggregator and you're asking your subcontractors to connect to you, make sure they're connecting to your aggregator account and not to the Amazon US supplier or Amazon Canada supplier account. We will get those requests, and if we see that you're a subcontractor, we'll decline the request to Amazon US and instead connect you to the aggregator. So just to save some steps there, make sure you're directly connecting to your aggregator's account.
Awesome, thank you. I'm not seeing any more questions. Quick thing I want to add. A lot of our suppliers who already registered on Avetta, there's a really cool feature on Avetta they're not using to its full potential or not aware of. If you look down at the bottom left corner when you're logged in Avetta, there's a chat or call Avetta link that pops up. When you click that link, it takes you to a page, and I dropped that link in the chat as well. It takes you to a page where there's different phone numbers outlined for different regions around the world. So you're able to get in touch with country-specific customer support teams using those numbers and information provided. Hope that helps. That's a comment from Christina. Matthew Hoffling is contact for aggregator accounts. That's a good reminder. We're coming to a close and I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. At this point, I would like to remind everyone there's 3 more breakout sessions that you can jump onto. We are going to do a repeat of this one for next half hour. If you want to listen in again, you can. But if you would like to jump to another room, you can use the link I'm about to drop in the chat to jump to another breakout room. We've got construction breakout room, which is really good. We've got GHA breakout room, which is job hazard analysis and risk assessment best practices by Justin Smith. And then we've also got management systems by Lori Nape, which who's from Avetta.
Yep, and if you're attending another breakout session, just scroll down to the bottom of the switch page and you can go to one of the other breakout sessions. We'll start those in about 8 minutes.
Yeah, thanks for attending today.